Filemanager IntelliJ IDE, we're currently using the Maia version 9.4. Here we see the project structure with the package for the file manager. And we're going to look at the DBX class file that handles communications with exist. Here you can see evidence of XPath. Here we have the XML RPC call, then we have the collection path strings, both in the form of XPath. Our first call here is do XPath query. Then we have save file, strip file, create file start XML, toString, get file list, get file map, file exist, delete file, and that's about it. Here in the HubServlet class, we have control over how the application handles requests. For example, for the author group page, we can handle a number of operations. For example, reload author in group list and toggle included. The upload file class is very much like the HubServlet, except that it handles uploads of files. This had to be separated in order to handle a multi-part content on the mean. Here's some more structure behind that. And for Java server pages, we have admin, author, author add, and so on. Let's go ahead and look at the project structure. Beginning with project, we're using currently Java version 1.6. Here's a modules section, here's libraries and facets. Most importantly, in IntelliJ, the artifacts allows us to configure the form of deployment, and the explode is the most important. It comes by default when the application is first installed or set up. You can see the directory target is Filemanager war exploded. Here's a structure that's actually created for the compilation. Whereas the Filemanager war archive is actually based upon the exploded one. It simply zips it in the form that's usable with the manifest file. We're going to look next at the Edit Configurations dialog, where we can set up the Tomcat and the artifacts to actually deploy. In particular, the Tomcat 6 has a configuration that we can set. If you have several Tomcats in your environment, for example, you can set it to target a particular one. In this case, we're targeting Tomcat 6026 in the Applications folder. Next, notice that our startup page is Filemanager. For the build to artifacts, we have two artifacts actually being created when we press the Run button. And for deployment, we're only really interested in deploying the exploded artifact, and we set the application context with this drop down. So here within the File Manager directory, we're going to go ahead and delete the out directory so that we can recreate it. So we do the build and build project. We see that the out directory is actually created, and we see the artifacts directory exploded as well. To build a war file, we have to explicitly build the artifacts, and then we press the OK button, and we see that the File Manager war directory is created along with the filemanager.war file. Here we're going to go ahead and delete the out directory so that we can recreate it later. First thing we'll do is run the File Manager application and see that IntelliJ is reporting the number of deployment steps. Then the Safari browser appears with File Manager, and we press Submit and see that the File Manager is actually running. Next step we'll do is look at the exist repository and navigate into the file of interest. In this case, normally when you're in exist, you need to provide a username and password of admin. And here in the browse collections, we'll just navigate up the collection path, and then we see project SBC Maureen's 1.xml is listed. Here we see that the WAR file was actually generated along with the exploded directory and its files. So what we're going to do next is to upload the WAR file that was just generated into the manager for Tomcat. The default name and password for Tomcat is Tomcat. Here we look at the Tomcat manager actually showing the file manager deployed. We can choose to undeploy it here, but we won't be doing that. I'll just be showing you how to choose your file and then deploy that. So we navigate to the WAR file of interest. Here we select the filemanager.war file, and we see it appears. Then we press the deploy button, and Tomcat's supposed to replace the existing file manager. One of the common deployment schemes is to copy and drag the filemanager.war file into the web apps directory for Tomcat. That sometimes doesn't work because Tomcat can get unstable. Thanks for listening to this video on how to install the file manager.